three announcements around their digital academy, which we think are pretty noteworthy. So to remind you, we're on a 5 to 7 year roadmap to get to a digital leader in digital health. And with the impetus of coronavirus and COVID-19, we've actually been able to jump about a maturity level over the period of the last 4 or 5 months. We have an integrated digital transformation strategy. There's 5 pillars that we look at: our digital academy, our open innovation with the ecosystem, our network of digital labs, the Digital Academy Forum, and finally, digitization and disruptive technology. We're delighted with our masters. Our second cohort of 55 students will be inducted in UL this coming Saturday. The portfolio of innovations has really expanded. The concept of stay left, shift left is really becoming embedded in the ecosystem. So this is the stay left, shift left, which has been our guiding light for our ecosystem. Stay left is about keeping well people well, or if you happen to have a chronic condition, that you can be managed best of all from home. And shift left is about moving people as quickly as possible from an acute to community to home setting, and very much aligned with Sláinte care. And each time we're looking at a new disruptive technology, we're looking for 4 kinds of outcomes: improved quality of care, improved quality of life, reduce cost, and improve clinician experience. And very often we're able to see 10x improvements in some of these areas driven by digital technology. So we actually have a superb lineup today. Everybody that's registered will see the agenda. So we'll be talking, for example, with Sean Linehan, who's CEO of Alone, talking about the new Living Lab. We're delighted to be joined by George Crooks, OBE from DHI in Scotland. We have Alan Sharp, the CEO of the Matter Living Lab, and we have some really eminent clinicians talking about, for example, digital epilepsy treatment, the digital sleep lab, and so on. So I'll keep going. Just want to mention we were delighted to be recognised in the recent Irish Healthcare Awards at the start of December. Just to mention, the Digital Academy Forum won the educational meeting of the year. So this is our evolving network of digital labs, and we're really pleased, for example, to announce a new emergency general surgery living lab in Letterkenny under the leadership of Michael Sugrue and Randall Parler. We've recently been joined by Michael Broderick, a postdoc from Trinity College, to figure out how artificial intelligence can help clinicians make better real-time decisions around emergency general surgery. We'll be hearing from George about the demonstrator and simulation environment that's been transferred from Scotland to HSE. We'll hear from John Garvey around the digital sleep lab in St. Vincent's. Alan Sharp and several of his team will be talking about the Matter Living Lab. And then we'll have Heart Care at Home. Jochen Hurlebaus and Donald Bailey will speak about that. One example of the Living Lab is in Letterkenny, as I mentioned, and we know emergency general surgery carries a much higher post-operative morbidity rate than other elective procedures. And the opportunity is to apply AI to better inform decisions surgeons when they have to make real-time decisions. And we're looking forward to some interesting output from that project. We're starting to incubate a new virtual respiratory ward using all sorts of digital endpoints that are then integrated into an app and into a clinical portal. And we'll be talking about this in our Q1 DAF. I won't talk about the Heart Care at Home because Donald Bailey will talk us through this, but this is a project working with patients who have cardiac failure issues and intervening at least a week in advance before they need hospitalization, thus avoiding the hospitalization. So digital disruption is your key theme for today. Professor Clay Christensen, who sadly passed away last year from Harvard, introduced this technology, and it's about technologies that may initially be inferior but or cheaper, but eventually come to displace the incumbent technology. And we have several examples of that. So within digital transformation, we've been looking at 5G technologies, we're looking at AI, we're looking at avatar technology, we've been looking at drone delivery and many other areas of disruptive technologies. Just to show you, this is how we were managing disruptive technologies prior to COVID. So this is the wall in my office with yellow stickies on the different disruptive technologies. And as a metaphor, this is what my office looks like today. We have so many opportunities, and we need to figure out actually which ones that we actually manage. To that end, we have a portfolio that Ross manages, and we look at all the benefits in terms of stay left, shift left, and we look at the doability, and then we try and prioritize the ones that we'll go implement. Now, I'm just going to show a brief clip of an avatar at work, and this is a collaboration with Computer Science and Trinity.
Hello, my name is Louise. Before we continue, may I have your name?
My name is Ed.
I have you down as Ed. Is the name right? Okay, thank you. Good morning, my name is Louise. I'm here to help you before you see the doctor. Can I ask you a few questions?
Sure, go ahead.
Very well, let's move forward. Are you feeling generally unwell?
A bit, yes.
Okay, I'll make a note of that. Would you say you...
So this is an example of a technology that potentially could be used in helping with COVID triage, and we're working with the track and trace team to evaluate whether this can be used. I'm now going to move on and show you a video of a technology we've been trialing in Intellimore in the Midland Regions Hospital, an ultraviolet cleaning robot. So this is a technology that initially introduced in March of this year, and you can see that on the screen there. And the design was motivated by the realization that cleaning rooms in our hospitals both hazardous and time consuming, and the opportunity was there to use an autonomous robot to do this. Following some initial testing in the Mater Hospital, the Midlands Region Hospital in Intellimore volunteered to actually be a test site, and this technology was launched at the WED Summit last week, and to great acclaim. So thanks to Noreen Hines, the General Manager in Intellimore, for the assistance of her and her team in terms of actually testing this technology. It's still at an early stage, but the results look very promising, and the next step would be to see how we could expand the usage of this technology in the Midlands Regional Hospital, and come with a conclusive report about the clinical efficacy and the business value of such a technology. So the next disruptive technology I want to share, I'm just holding up actually here to my camera, is a pill camera. It comes from a company called InterraSense based in Galway, and they have licensed some of the technology from Harvard University. And essentially this is something that could transform what happens when a patient shows up with abdominal pain or actually experience it in the ward. This is an ingestible capsule, and there's an electronic receiver for the minimally invasive procedure. And essentially this is the workflow that happens if somebody shows up with abdominal pain. Very often, most often outcome is they go for endoscopy, and then you get your treatment. What is being suggested is you actually put in an interim step where a patient swallows the tablet, and we get sort of real-time confirmation whether there's GI bleeding or not. So only the confirmed patients with bleeding actually need to go for an endoscopy, and we're looking to see where we can potentially deploy this technology across the HSE network. We're going to hear a case study from the Mater Living Lab, the use of a Vocera communication system, and this is very much like what was imagined in Star Trek in terms of the communicator badge, and Ciara Fitzsimons will talk about that. This week, this new device, it's a digital closed-loop device for diabetics, is being approved by the HSE, and essentially it's a closed-loop system. You have real-time continuous glucose monitoring happening every 5 minutes, and then the digital infusion pump and infusion set then basically regulates the level of insulin up or down to actually have real-time control of the glucose level. In our DAF in Q1, we'll be featuring actually one of the patients that you would be using the system will actually talk about his experience. And of course, this also generates a lot of data that can be viewed by the clinician to improve the patient care. And we think the big win from this is avoiding hospitalizations. The patient that will talk at our next DAF, his experience, he was routinely being hospitalized 3 times a year before this kind of technology became available. A new technology that John Garvey will probably mention is from a company called Sunrise, and this will dramatically allow the reduction of waiting lists for digital sleep analysis. For only £49 a night, you could actually buy one of these sleep testing kits from the web, and it downloads information through the night to your phone, which is then transferred to a server, and you can get analysis on your sleep patterns. I'm delighted to highlight the HSE library have been really progressive, and they are going to put Maker Labs, that's a mobile workstation to allow staff to quickly turn new products and services into prototypes, and that technology will be going into 5 hospitals by January, and we're working with Aoife Lawton and her team to add a digital component, so likely that will be a Raspberry Pi kit which will allow the digitization of the prototypes. We have a few quick announcements on the Digital Academy. We're very pleased, as I mentioned, we have 44 students this year, and we have 21 digital change projects that are currently active. And they're looking very promising, and on Saturday in Limerick we'll induct the next 55 students. But I'm very pleased to announce a collaboration between the Digital Academy and the Cisco Networking Academy, and this will make a lot of Cisco's content available at no charge to HSE employees. So Shane Hurt is on the line. Shane, what does this collaboration involve?
Good afternoon, everyone. Delighted to be with you today. Clearly, one of the many outcomes over the last year has been an exponential acceleration of our digital society, including especially digital healthcare. This drives a real priority for our people to be able to access technology easily, safely, but most importantly, securely. So as a global tech vendor, Cisco is very committed to education across all segments of telecommunications. And with our Academy program to date, we have graduated in excess of 2.5 million global citizens. So with this Academy and the content and the program, the HSE can continue on its digital journey and ensure that every employee gains access to the digital skills that are needed, while also keeping the organization secure and safe. So we are really proud and excited about this collaboration with the HSE and its incredible staff. And we're looking forward to being a phenomenal success. And thank you for allowing me to join this afternoon.
Great, Shane. Really appreciate that. Shane Hurdy, the country manager for Cisco in Ireland. And people can go to the digital transformation website and they can download. And here's an example of some of the classes that are available. We're also really pleased today to be signing a memo of agreement with GMIT, based obviously in Galway and Mayo, with Orion Learning, to be producing a digital health fundamentals class, which is based on the GMIT certificate in digital health, and we expect this to be available in February for all HSE staff, and that's very exciting and very necessary. We've also delighted to announce a collaboration with EIT Health, which is a pan-European, European Commission funded initiative with more than 150 partners across Europe, and they will be opening their EIT Health office in Ireland on January 1. They become sort of an official hub of EIT Health. I want to check if Christina Petrus is on the line or not. No, I don't think so. But Christina Petrus is the new incoming CEO, and we're delighted to have been able to formulate a collaboration agreement so quickly.
Sorry, Martin. Paul is on the line on our behalf. Paul,
okay. Paul, do you want to say a few quick words about the collaboration?
Certainly, and thank you, Martin. Delighted to kick this off. As Martin said, we're a European funded agency with 150 partners, which we fund projects across innovation, research, industry, academia, startups, and healthcare payers and providers. Transitioning into the Irish network much more heavily now in the beginning of next year, and absolutely delighted to form a collaboration with the Digital Transformation Group and to be able to support this forum now and into 2021.
That's great, Paul. Thank you very much, and we appreciate the support. And we're already working with EIT Health on a number of different opportunities where the HSE projects could get funded or educational offerings. So I think I'm almost out of time, but I wanted to highlight kind of an exemplar, Aisling Gannon, who is a nurse who's been practicing in Sligo, and she has recently, with her organisation, been able to get support to take a 2-year assignment to work on digital transformation projects. And Aisling is the lead for the Sligo Living Lab, focused on older persons care. And we hope, actually, as our masters continues to mature, that we will get more people like Aisling stepping up and taking leadership roles to help drive the overall transformation. Digital transformation of the healthcare system in Ireland. I'll leave you with a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. It says, "Do not go where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path, and leave a trail." And collectively in the ecosystem, we are trying to do this digital pathfinding, and I hope you will all continue to walk with us on this journey. So I'm going to stop there, and I want to invite our next speaker to talk. It's Paul Reid. He's our CEO. I think, Paul, on behalf of the entire ecosystem, we've seen how you've stepped up and actually been a real leader through all of the phases of the COVID. And I know you never stop. I see your tweets at 11 o'clock on a Sunday evening, or 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning. So thank you for the great leadership you've displayed nationally. So I'll hand you over to Paul, who will speak about transformation and the way forward.